Welcome everyone to this exciting webinar with Dicken Bettinger and Natasha Swerdloff, Knowing the Know. I'm sure most of you, or maybe all of you, know about Dicken and Natasha, who they are, so I would not go into any presentation. You might also know that they are authors of the book Coming Home, and which will soon be published in Norwegian and other Scandinavian languages. Hopefully we will have the Norwegian version ready for the seminars in March. Dicken and Natasha will come to Norway with two exciting events. One is an in-depth seminar in Oslo, 9 to 11 of March, called Healthy Mind, Kind Heart, New World. And then the following weekend, on March 17 to 18, there will be an advanced training for practitioners in Tønsberg, just an hour outside of Oslo, called Realize Truth, Enjoy Life, Share What You Know. And I hope Dicken would say a little bit about these seminars so you have some idea what to expect. And without any further ado, I hand it over to Dicken Natasha. Most welcome to you. It's such a great honor to host the webinar with you two people.
Do you want to say something, Dicken, just before?
Yeah, I'd love to just say hello. Thanks everybody for coming. It's always a delight to feel like a part of a group of people that are just interested in learning things that can't help lead us in the direction of being more loving and understanding. So it's a delight to be here, and Natasha and I are very, very excited about coming to Norway in March. And the first weekend, March 10th and 11th, we're going to do a public talk on the 9th, but the first weekend is the 10th and the 11th. And it's an open seminar to anyone, any age, who would like to come. And that will be a seminar that will be appropriate for people who are brand new to this, as well as people who have been around this for a long time. That's very common to have people different levels of exposure to the three principles come. So all are welcome. The second weekend is going to be, if you will, a more advanced weekend for practitioners or people who are interested in sharing with other people what you're learning that's helpful to you and what accounts for your happiness, what accounts for your well-being. So can't wait to come, really can't.
So Dicken and I, before this talk, spoke about what would be a nice subject to talk about in this today. And speaking about the now is something that both of us, that came up for both of us. I remember years and years ago, I read, I think it was John Kabat-Zinn who said, "Wherever you go, there you are." And I always thought that's such a cool sentence. That's something that intrigued me. But it's not until recently that I've seen that more deeply, that I've touched upon it just a little bit more. And it has to do with the present moment. And in a way, it's interesting that you can get pulled away from the present moment because it's all there is. It's always now. So what do we mean by saying knowing the now? What is that? As if you could ever really know it. But it's this sense of deeper. Oh, there's a lot of sound. Is that
We're going to have to just tolerate the sound. Wouldn't you know, today a workman showed up to redo our kitchen.
Well, they can mute yourself.
They're at the other end of the house, so I will mute my screen when I'm not talking. But if you hear hammering, it's the kitchen workers. Okay, hold on. I'll mute.
So the past almost month, I've been on vacation, and I've had a lot of time to just be in the moment, not being so distracted by, everyday things that are going on, which has given me the opportunity to really reflect on what does this now mean? What's the deeper sense for me in that? And in a way, it's so simple. It's so ordinary. We can all turn our attention to what's going on in this exact moment, because it's all that there is. And all that can really take me away from this exact moment is my thinking. My thinking about the past, my thinking about the future, my thinking about who I think I am. So anything that sort of brings me out of the present moment into somewhere else. Of course, I don't leave. Of course, there is only this present moment. And everything that arises in this present moment in my thinking, the one who I am, my true self, is still right here, right now. It can just feel as if I'm being taken away to somewhere else. So more and more, especially this past month, I've seen that the more I stop identifying with who I think I am, the more I stop holding on to, clinging on to the future or the past, the more I'm able to be fully present with right here, right now. And the more I'm more able to see everything that comes up in myself, every thought that I'm having, every feeling that I'm having, and kind of let who I am transcend who I think I am. It's as if I can look at a screen and notice that on the screen can be lots of different images going on, many different films. And sometimes I get pulled into the movie, and I can get either excited because it's something fun that I know I'll be doing in a few hours or tomorrow, or it can be a movie that's kind of scary because I can start thinking about something that might happen that would be scary. And as soon as I feel the emotion of that, as soon as I recognize, I feel caught up right now. I'm feeling my emotions take over right now. It's such a great reminder to bring me right back into this present moment. It's like waking up to thought. The fact that I'm thinking and that I'm being pulled away wakes me up and lands me right back in the present moment, right here, right now. And as soon as I'm back, I stop identifying so much. I stop taking my thinking so seriously. I become more free of anything that I'm thinking about the past or the future. It's as if the identification with thought, with my thinking, takes me away from who I am. And when I fall back into the present moment, when I fall back into this pure consciousness who I really am, then I feel even more like myself. It's a fun paradox that when I let go of who I think I am, I more fully feel like who I am. I hope that's making sense to people. It's definitely something that I've been exploring for a while now. So it's really enjoyable to more and more see how my personal thinking takes me away from the moment. And as soon as I'm away, I'm less present with my husband, I'm less present with my friends, I'm less present with myself because I'm away from this moment. And the way that for me works to wake me up to that is through what I'm feeling in the moment. It kind of puts me right back into this moment. So I love the title, Knowing the Now. It's the more time I spend in this present moment without identifying with everything that's going on in my personal mind, the deeper sense of this present moment there is. There's this sense of deepening my appreciation for the beauty around me, of the friendships around me, the ones who are right here and the ones who are not. My relationship to my husband, the relationship to myself. There's a peace of mind and an ease about life that is really beautiful. So that was sort of some of the reflections that I've had around the now. So I'd love to hear what you say, Dicken.
It's really ordinary. It's so ordinary, we miss it all the time. I can remember one time my mother was walking around our house. She's going, "Have you seen my glasses? I've looked everywhere. I can't find my glasses." We started laughing. They were hanging around her neck. That's like the now. People looking for the now, it cracks me up. It's very ordinary. That's the first thing I wanted to say. Second thing I want to say, it's the same thing as love. There's no difference. You can't experience love and not be in the now. They go hand in hand. They're like lovers. They're inseparable. Now, when I say love, I'm using that word in the broadest sense. It's the feeling that's there when we're fully engaged in life. You can call that feeling love, you can call it happiness, you can call it joy, you can call it peace, you can call it caring, you can call it understanding. It's the feeling that's there when we're not engaged in our personal thinking. It's the feeling that's there when we're not engaged in our personal thinking. You can't be thinking and be happy at the same time. It's our natural state. We're born, when we're born as newborns, we do not have developed yet our personal thinking. The thinking that we do, our concepts, our ideas, our beliefs. So we're walking around as babies in this wide open state. Why do I call that love? Because you can have all different feelings in that state. Still love. Why is that? Without personal thinking, there are no judgments. There are no shoulds. I should feel better. I should feel different. This shouldn't be happening. There are no judgments. I'm not getting this right. I don't understand this. I don't know what to do. There are no beliefs or concepts that always create a sense of limitation. I can't do this. I'm no good at that. You're a certain kind of person. I'm a certain kind of person. All of those are ideas and concepts. You will not experience love or happiness or truth when you're in thinking that creates a sense of separation. So in a very, very simple way, anytime you're enjoying yourself and feeling happy, you're in the now. Anytime you're not feeling good, but you don't have any thinking about it, and you're totally at peace with whatever you're feeling, you're in the now. It's an unconditional love that embraces. It's the experience of wholeness. It's the experience of non-separation. It's the freedom from our personal thinking. There are no psychological problems in the now. There's no mental illness in the now. There's no struggle, psychological struggle in the now. It's free. Some people call it the freedom space. What is it free of? It's free of the constant noise your personal thinking makes. It says, it's constantly running the story in your head. I should do this, I shouldn't do this. That person is better. How can I be better? What's wrong with me? How do I get out of this? When your mind is free of that, it's just ordinary. It's our natural state. All of us step into that space and we don't know that that's our innate well-being. We don't know it. We say, oh, I feel good because the sun is out. No, you feel good because you fell out of your personal thinking. I feel good because the person that I love just walked into the room. You feel good because you fell out of the thinking that created a sense of separation. And as soon as we fall out of our personal thinking, there's a feeling there that connects us to life in a positive way. I love going for hikes in nature. Because when I go for hikes in nature and my personal thinking quiets down and falls away, I see beauty everywhere. So another word for the now is beauty. If you're experiencing beauty, you're in the now. How about this? If you're in the now, you will experience beauty. You'll see other people as being beautiful, even when they're all caught up in their thinking and being pretty ugly. You have compassion for their suffering. The now is the one thing people can't do. You can't think your way to it. You can't make yourself be in the now. It's our natural state. It comes and goes all day long and we don't recognize it. If we don't recognize the feeling of the now, we don't know that when we're having difficulty or problems, that it's impossible to think your way to the now, which is the only place where problems get solved. Most adults that I see when they're feeling stress or tension don't run full speed toward the now, which is the only place where you get new thinking, creativity, you get feelings that uplift you and motivate you, inspire you, love you, move you in a kind-hearted, compassionate way in life. Most adults, when I see them feeling stressed or struggling or having difficulty, lean into their thinking. And as I said, you can't think your way to happiness or love. It's impossible. You can't be doing both at the same time. No one can. It's not personal. No one can. Who would think that if you have a problem, that if you fall out of your ideas and beliefs and concepts about people, life, and problems, that in that feeling, you'll know what to do or how to do it. That feeling, whatever you want to call it, is filled with wisdom and knowing. When I'm in that feeling, I don't have to think about how to communicate well with my wife. I just open my mouth. When I was parenting, and I learned this secret, if I didn't like what was going on, if I fell out of my personal thinking into the now and rested in that feeling space, all I had to do is go be with my kids. And if I opened my mouth, I didn't have to worry about what I would say, because when you're in the now, you're safe to other people. You can say anything you want and get away with it. Why is that? Because you're in a nice feeling. People can tell. People don't respond to your words in communication. They respond to your feeling. So the now is, in my mind, what every human being on this planet is looking for. And we don't know that it's right under our nose. It's our natural state. When you get familiar with the now, which is just a moment of awareness free of our personal thinking, free of our concepts, free of our ideas, free of our beliefs. This is the secret that everybody's looking for, because it's only in the now you discover love, understanding, compassion, are creative, get insights, connect well, communicate well, live well. There's another name for the now. It's called the unknown. Most of the time when we're insecure or worried or having problems, we want to figure it out and know what to do and know how to be. You won't find the answers in the known. If you will, it'd just be a matter of memory. Whoever had the best memory would be able to remember what to say, what to do, how to deal with your kids, how to respond to the person who's yelling at you, right? You just have to memorize what to do and how to do it. You fall out of everything you know. You don't know anything. That's the now. That's where you find love. That's where you connect. That's where you find understanding. Very ordinary. It's right under our nose. It's always been there. Right under our I know. Right under our nose lies presence. Presence is another word for the now. Just being fully present. One last thing I want to say about the now. It's not in time. In my mind, it's not the past, it's not the present, it's not the future. They're all in time. When I fall out of my personal thinking, I'm in the timeless now. You have no thoughts about time. That's what love is. That's what happiness is. Right? It's freedom from time. My teacher, Sydney Banks, beautiful, beautiful man, talked about this more eloquently than anybody I know. just say it's the within of every human being. So when they say look within, they just mean fall out of your personal thinking into this space, the heart. You fall in love. That means you just let go of all the personal thinking you're doing. And the paradox is when we fall in love, that's where we find the answers to everything we're looking for. Well, I'd love to open it up. Love to open it up. And I'm very grateful that the carpenters have decided not to hammer for a few minutes. Hopefully it stays that way, and they don't start the saws. Who would like to comment? Is this making sense to people? Yeah, Pat Cole. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much. I feel so in the now listening to you. And I just want to say what you say is true, because I love you and I love everybody on this call. And I'm just so happy and privileged to be listening and sharing this with everyone. So I really feel in the love and in the now. Thank you.
Pat, it was interesting. You said, as I listen to you. You can't think and listen at the same time. So when we're really listening, that's another metaphor for the now. When we're really listening, there's always a nice feeling to really listening. If you're not in a nice feeling while you're listening, I guarantee you're thinking about something. You're thinking about yourself or what you're going to say, or you're thinking about what's being said, or you're thinking about whether you agree with it or disagree with it, right? Very few people just listen. Yeah. You can walk down the street and just listen. You'll fall in love with life, right? If I'm with my wife and I don't feel close to her, I know I'm not listening. I know I'm doing a lot of thinking. And she'd say, Dicken, you're not listening to me. And I'd say, yes, I am.
Wow, I love that. Thank you, because that's another sort of insight. I didn't really get that about the listening. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
So please just unmute yourself in the bottom left corner if you want to raise a question or a comment.
Hi.
Oh, Hazel, hi.
Hi, Dicken. Thank you very much for this. My question is about dreams. I was trying to find the part in yours and Natasha's book where it mentioned dreams, but I can't quite find it at the moment, other than daydreaming. And I'd like to know what you would say about dreams, because I have a lot of them. You know, do we take notice of them? How much significance can we put on dreams? Are they just stale thoughts, or are they the subconscious trying to tell us something about now? Could you comment on that, please?
Yes. I used to run dream groups before I learned the principles, so it's something I've been very interested in. Well, you understand that we're dreaming during the day, right? That whatever thoughts you're having are just temporarily creating a reality. If you know it's a dream, you don't take it so seriously. If you don't know it's a dream, you're in it, and it can turn into a nightmare. So people have daymares. They have daymares during the day. They have thoughts that they get involved in and think are true. They're not in the now, right? Same thing happens at night. It's just thinking we're doing at night. When we're in the now, we have beautiful dreams and we're flying, or we're having really beautiful, there's a feeling in that dream that's different. When we're caught up in our thinking, we can be anxious in our dreams, fearful, upset, just like during the day. No difference. No difference. So there's a lot of thinking I don't pay attention to during the day. As a matter of fact, when I'm not paying attention to my thinking, my dream changes to a more beautiful dream. So I don't encourage people to examine the content of their thinking during the day. So I no longer encourage people to pay attention to the content of their thinking at night.
Okay.
It's more important to discover the now, which is before the dream. And it's always present. It's always here. And it's where we find everything we're looking for. So you don't have to wait to analyze anything before you can experience the now. And it's in the now you find love and understanding and insight and inspiration and all the things people are looking for.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then if you want to play around with your dreams, you can. When you have an understanding that it's all an illusion, it's all made up, it's all it's like a movie, then you can, it's fine if you want to write down your dreams or reflect on them or play around with those images. I did that for years. It can be very fun if you have fun with it. If you start getting serious and start getting caught up in that thinking, you leave the now and you won't find what you're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
I love that question. I used to every day get that question when I taught dreams. Now I get it once in a while, and I'd love to have a chance to answer it.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the observations on that. I feel reassured, and it's answered. Yes, it's answered my question. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Good.
And thank
I
you.
just want-
It's absolutely fantastic. Everybody should read it.
Oh, thanks, Hazel.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to add that I spent 6 years in a dream group when I was, oh no, it was 5 years. From I was 14 to 19, I would meet once a week with this group of people and we would talk about our dreams and analyze. And then I would spend hours, in the next days thinking about what we'd been analyzing. And I'd spent a lot of time writing down my dreams, and it took me away from the now because I was using a lot of my thought process in thinking about what I had dreamt and what it meant and or what it might mean, and then what might I dream and how might that change. So the more time I spent doing that, the less present I was. So I love how Dicken put it right now. It's thinking that's going on at night, and the more that I don't take it personally, the more that I just see it as something that's on the screen at night, the more free I am, the more present I am, the more love and appreciation I have for life. So just wanted to add that. Other questions out there, or comments, or reflections, or insights? We'd love to hear it.
Hi there.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi there. I'm tapping into the theme of the dreams, as I find out when I do like certain exercises like yin yoga, where you kind of loosen up tight muscles, or things that have been stuck all the time. Then in the night, I can get a nightmare. And I've been welcoming that, for the release. And then the nightmares turn very funny. But still you wake up shivering, and I just stay with that. And then I'm it has turned completely different when I'm like open to that arising. And it's funny that it happens always when you're like, where there's some tissue that is still, you know, contracted. And then after exercising that can be released like that. Before it was like, oh. And I was just, yeah, it's still scary, but I'm the one making all the scary things, or someone else, or it has a funny twist to it, but still the body wakes up shivering and just discharges whatever needs to be discharged. Yeah. Yeah, so it's beautiful to, yeah.
I watch how little babies do when they have their emotions. They don't try and release anything. And because they're not thinking about their experience, it comes and goes naturally. It releases naturally, without any work, without any effort, without any doing. And in the now, you'll have all kinds of experiences, but they get embraced in this compassion, right? It gets embraced. So shivering gets embraced, fear gets embraced. It comes and goes very naturally, very easily in the now. When we start thinking about what we're experiencing, it stays in place and it gets more contracted. So it's beautiful to understand that you're a thought away from the now, where all of that is free to come and go, and this deeper intelligence knows how to release everything. Yeah. A lot less work, huh?
No work at all. It just comes. It comes.
That's right. It comes and goes naturally. Yeah. Yeah, I loved what Natasha said. It's just like the movie on the screen. They come and go. But you're just the now, which is the screen, which is untouched by any of it. In truth, we are the screen. And it's not personal. It's not my consciousness. It's universal consciousness. Beautiful. Thanks, Andrea. In the now, our humor gets restored. Who else has a question or would like to say something? Or if you're hearing something fresh or new, I'd love to hear that too.
I just had a comment about, I had an association with my dog. When he meets other dog and he doesn't quite know how to handle that other dog, he gets really tough and he's working hard on how to handle the situation.
Yeah.
The minute he's past that dog, he shakes and he just lets go of that that odd feeling, that kind of tensing up a little bit, and then he just lets it go. And then his tail is back up and he's as happy as ever and he keeps doing whatever he was, you know, experiencing the now. And it's such a beautiful example.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to describe the more deeply we have an understanding about our true nature, the quicker we shake it off. Right? We become more resilient. We get beyond, we allow our thinking to flow through quicker rather than grabbing onto it and thinking about it or analyzing it. So we shake it off quicker and we spend more time just resting in the now, just enjoying the moment as it is without having to know intellectually anything. And then when it's appropriate and we're in the now, we will know when to go into our intellect and think about things, because the intellect is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we're not throwing it out. We're just saying you can't find love and happiness in the intellect. It's not in the computer. So we have a computer, we can use it. Thank God, it's a beautiful thing. Right? When we feel tension or stress, it's just an indication we're in our computer and it's not helpful. It's a call back to the now. It's a reminder that we're the screen, not the movie.
One of my favorite books is called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by a guy called Robert Sapolsky, and it's exactly that animals, they just kind of, you know, if they're being hunted by the lion and they freeze and they get all tense, the moment that they're out of danger, they kind of shake it off, just like you said with the dog. And children are the same way. They'll be playing in the playground, and I'll be playing with my friend Dicken, and he takes my buck, and I said, I hate you, I will never play with you again. And then 2 split seconds later, like, you're my best friend, let's play some more. Children do this naturally because they're not thinking about it. They don't pay attention to anything that's like, oh, he did that, maybe he'll do it again. Did he also do it last week? That's what we tend to do as adults. We think about the past, we go into the future, we think, oh, he's done it once, maybe he'll do it again. And then we keep ourselves in the stuckness instead of taking it off. So it's this thinking about, identifying with, and believing our own thoughts. Now you're hammering yourself, Dicken. So it's as soon as we believe our thinking, that's when we get all tense up. When we believe that, oh, this might happen again. I about a week and a half ago here on Hawaii, where I am right now on vacation, everyone on the island pretty much got a text on their cell phone saying that there was a missile attack, and there was a missile coming towards Hawaii Islands. We had 15 minutes to seek cover, and now it was interesting because it was I felt very much at peace and in where I was, but I read about later on that people had run out of their cars or driving away or ran out of stores. There was a lot of things going on. And the only thing that can ever take us out, not that we can ever leave the present moment, but it can certainly feel that way or into our stress, is starting to create a movie about what would happen if a missile really does come. And so on my screen, I'm creating this horror movie. And if I believe it to be true, that will happen. I'll start tensing up. I'll get really frightened. But it's also possible, both with our thinking that we do in the daytime and the nighttime, to see it on the screen, notice that it's there, and just be present to this moment. If I don't put belief onto it, if I don't identify it, if I don't think it's personal, I'm right back in this present moment, experiencing the beauty that was at that present moment where I was. It took about 35 minutes before we got a new text message saying that it was a false alarm, that there was no real danger. But in those 35 minutes, I've heard stories throughout the last week and a half of people who got really frightened by their thinking, nothing else. There was no real danger. So it was such an interesting example of how thought can really create all this emotional stuff. So I love what you said about the dog shaking it off, and how we as adults can do that. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself because there's a phone ringing. Any other questions or comments?
There's another implication that we haven't quite talked about yet. In truth, the past and the future don't exist. Our past can't hurt us or harm us because it doesn't exist, except as memories that we've carried through time, so that at any moment, a memory in the present moment can be activated and you will experience it. But that's not the past. That's a present moment thought creating a present moment experience. Now, in the people that I work with, I'm finding out it makes a huge difference whether people think it's something in their past that's making them be the way they are, or if they go, I'm just having a thought right at this moment. It's just the movie that's running at my movie theater. Because thoughts come and go. I don't know anybody who doesn't have memories. And I don't know anybody, people have beautiful memories, which are beautiful. And people have memories that are like very, very painful. And it's normal to have both positive and negative memories. And they will come and go. When I have negative memories, I get really frightened or upset. And when I'm in the now, that's just movie coming and going. It doesn't last, doesn't stay. Memory can't find a hold in the now. If we don't hold on to memory, we never become slaves of the past or worried about the future. Any thought can't find a hold in the now, but memory can't find a hold in the now. That's why I've watched kids who've had traumatic experiences and the memories come up and they feel them very strongly, but they stay in the now, so they freak out and then they get over it and they're back to playing, back to happiness, back to enjoying their life. I've seen adults with the same memories come up and they think about it for 3 days in a row. So the real suffering doesn't happen because of memory. It suffers because we grab onto a thought and keep thinking it. Remember I said I started off saying there's no psychological suffering in the now? There's no psychological suffering. You'll have experiences that come and go, guaranteed. I feel stressed and upset and get worried, and sometimes I run out of buildings if I think that I'm in danger. I was in a building once with an earthquake, and I ran out very fast, and I was terrified. Right? It's just wonderful to know that right under our nose, right under what we know, you're free to experience anything without story, without adding onto it, without suffering it. And the feeling of being in the now, no matter what you're feeling, is a nice feeling. So even if you're upset, if you're in the now, that feeling will open and expand rather than contract. In other words, love can embrace sadness, fear, upset, anger, hurt. They just keep opening, keep, in a sense, keep flowing through. Right? They just are coming and going naturally. Right? The now is the permanent shake off. Where you shake it off. It will shake off anything you're thinking. Anytime I've worked with any human being, no matter how much they're suffering, no matter how upset they are, at the moment they're in the now, it all flows naturally. There's no holding. So another way that people define psychological suffering is you're holding on to a thought about something. You've grabbed onto a memory, you've grabbed onto a thought, you're analyzing it, you're thinking about it, you're giving your attention to it, you're holding on to it. In the now, there is no holding in the now. It doesn't exist there. Boy, that helped me because I had some horrible things happen in my past, and now they have nothing to do with my life anymore. The past doesn't exist in my experience anymore. And when those thoughts get activated, I have a feeling, and it just is flowing through. It's welcome, can come and go. If I get caught up in it, which happens to me sometimes, then I suffer like anybody else. But I wanted to bring that up, that there is no, in truth, there is no past and future or present moment. The now is when we have no thinking about time, and there's just this as it is, this moment as it is. And the feeling of being with what is rather than ideas about life is always an opening feeling. You can be sad and it'll be opening. You can be with a friend who's dying, as I have, and that feeling of sadness is beautiful. It's opening. When I'm in my thinking, it starts closing and gets hard, and I suffer my sadness rather than experience it.
I remember one time there was the Dalai Lama was being interviewed, and there had been a horrible attack on the village that he was from in Tibet. And the interviewer asked him, well, how did you feel? And he said, I felt a wave of emotion that sort of came in and went through me, a wave of sadness. And that was so beautiful. He didn't hold on to it. Of course he felt sadness, but he didn't hold on to it. He didn't think about, oh no, what does this mean? And will it happen again? And what is going on? And they shouldn't be doing that. And so when we don't hold on to it, when we can see what's on the screen without holding it, it passes by itself. We don't have to do anything. Now is all there is. There is nothing else. There is just the things that turn up on the screen. And if we don't pay attention to it and don't hold on to it, it passes all by itself. And we're back to this well-being and peace of mind. This is also where, as Dicken said earlier, is where good ideas come from. It's where wisdom can guide us directly because we're not caught up in what we think we should be doing. So seeing that we have thinking going on the screen and realizing that we are the screen, we are this pure consciousness, we are present, we are in the now right now, also allows us to fill up with this love, being guided by wisdom that always guides us towards thriving when we get out of the way. It's so beautiful, it's so ordinary, it happens to all of us every single day. It happens spontaneously. And when we become more aware of how our mind works and these principles that are living us perfectly in each and every moment, it just becomes easier to sometimes shake it off, let it go, be back in love. So we're coming towards the end. Any last comments before we, if anybody has any questions? Dicken, we can't hear you.
It's a chance to ask the question you've been afraid to ask. They're my favorite ones. So last chance, going once, going twice.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a bit.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Do you think there is such a thing as reality?
Absolutely. It's what is. It's not often what we think it is, it's what is. Our ideas about reality are not reality. My ideas about love are not love. But love is. Life is. You in your physical form are what you are. The ideas that you have about yourself are not who you are. The ideas I have about you are not who you are. And when my ideas fall away, what's left is what is. And that's reality. So that's why the wise have often said, our thinking, our personal thinking, our ideas and concepts are an illusion. They're a made-up version of reality, right? For a long time, I accepted my made-up version of my wife and thought that was reality. It didn't work very well for her or for me. And then when I began to fall out of my thinking about her, I started to experience what is, experience her as she is, not as she wasn't. And always, when that happens, people feel more loving or compassionate. When I fall out of my ideas, I fall back in love with my wife, or I have compassion for her. And then my wisdom knows how to deal with whatever she's doing or not doing. It protects me, if need be. But it's just, I like thinking about it that way, Marta. It's what is. It's very simple, very, very simple. Our concepts and our ideas are not what is, but as my teacher used to say, that's what isn't. So living in the now is living in the isness of life, as it is. So then if things happen, they're happening. Right? They're happening. We don't deny that life happens or that people exist or that cars exist or that tragedies exist. But boy, can we get caught up in thinking about it in a way that creates an enormous amount of suffering. And we live in the illusion and the fantasy of our own ideas, and that creates all kinds of limitation, all kinds of problems, all kinds of dislike, all kinds of judgments, right? We wake up out of that thinking and always we feel more connected to life in a positive way. So you could say love is the only reality there is. Not our ideas of love, but the experience of being connected to life as it is. Is that making sense? Or is that helpful? Or do you have other questions?
Yeah, it's good to hear. Yeah.
It doesn't deny anything that's happening by saying it's not real. It doesn't. All kinds of things happen in the world. A lot of them are not very pretty. But when we're not in our conceptual mind, we can deal with those negativities in a very wise way. In a way where we're protected, where we're clear, where we're strong, where we can respond wisely to what's happening. So it's the now is not only where we feel the best, but it's where we're best capable of dealing with what is, as it is. It's a very beautiful question, Marta. I'm really glad. Thank you. I'm really glad you asked that before we ended.
Okay, we have passed a little bit more than an hour. And I just would really, really thank you for this beautiful, beautiful session. That was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Boy, I hope to see everybody when we come in March.
Yeah, it's gonna be so great.
It's so fun.
We have people signed up from all over Scandinavia and from England and Germany and Holland and even from New Zealand. And we still have room for more. So, yeah. You're all welcome.
Wonderful to see you.
Dor, thank you for hosting. Thank you.
My pleasure.